There's another story coming out of Great Britain. Of course, the latest news out of the royal family after the big announcement that Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are stepping back from their royal duties. A spokeswoman for the Duchess said that Meghan has already returned to Canada. Meantime, Oprah Winfrey has also spoken out on reports that she advised the couple's decision, saying that they did not need her help, quote, figuring out what's best for them, in a statement to ET. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtian Tyab joins us now from London. Imtian, how has the palace responded to Meghan returning to Canada? Because I mean, the last report I saw, there was going to be some sort of emergency family meeting, and she won't be there.
Hey, Anne-Marie, good morning. Yeah, well, I think this is now up to Harry to figure this out. And the Queen herself saying she wants an urgent decision or rather she's calling on the palace to come up with a plan urgently, a workable solution, they're calling it, to come up with some sort of solution to these plans that Harry and Meghan have outlined in this website that they publish, a very polished website, I might add. But what's really interesting, Anne-Marie, you know, when we cover the royals, oftentimes when you hear statements coming out of the palace, it feels like you're reading tea leaves. But this time it was pretty clear. As soon as that announcement came out, you heard words like disappointed. Don't hear that a lot coming from the royal, from the palace, certainly when it's about a senior royal. But we've also heard the word hurt as well, that the Queen herself was hurt by this decision by Harry, but it's pretty clear she's determined to make this happen and has ordered her staff to figure out a way to do that.
So how's the public reacting to this? It's all quite sudden.
It is quite sudden, but in a way, it's not. We've known for a long time that Harry and Meghan have been struggling for some time. You'll remember when she was in South Africa, she gave an interview with British television saying she didn't realize it was going to be just quite so difficult, getting emotional in that interview, but sudden in the way that they announced it. The palace, the royal family, if you will, has been pretty clear in that they've been trying to sort of project this image of a streamlined royal family, and that pretty much includes Prince Charles, William, his family, and of course George, all of the heirs in line to the throne. But now when it comes to Harry, who's also seen as a senior royal, you have him saying, you know what, I want to step back. I have my own family. I have a wife. I have a child. We want to spend our time here in the UK, but also in North America, where my wife has a lot of connections. It's a place that Harry feels very connected to as well. But when it comes to public opinion, well, if you look at the British tabloids, I mean, they've been withering about this decision. We've been talking to people here on the streets of the UK. Some are pretty angry about it. Some are saying, listen, this is not a good idea. The royals take an awful lot of money. They are born into this. They should stick with it. Whereas others are saying, hey, listen, he's a normal guy. Let him go live his life on his own. So it's definitely polarized opinion here in the UK. But what's clear is that Harry and Meghan are determined to try to figure out how to make this work.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Madame Tussauds in London, you know, they're famous for their wax figures. They removed Harry and Meghan's wax figures from the display. I mean, already it's been like, what, 24 hours?
Yeah, I mean, look, some are describing it as a dig, others are describing it as a publicity stunt, but I think in a way it kind of crystallizes just what Harry and Meghan go through or have been going through since that beautiful wedding they had, that sun-drenched wedding they had just about a year and a half ago, which was so hopeful, so optimistic, and here we are again a year and a half later, and they're saying, you know what, we're going to take a step back. We're going to try to do things our own way. Trying to do things their own way, they say they want to have this sort of progressive new role as royals, but also saying they want to be financially independent. And there's big questions about what that means to be financially independent. We've been speaking to royal correspondents who say every time you have a member of the royal family try to sort of hold on to some sort of royal identity, but also try to make money in sort of a commercial capacity, it just doesn't work. But as we've been saying, the Queen has ordered her staff to come up with some sort of plan, some sort of solution. We got to remember Prince Harry and Meghan spend around $6.5 million a year in expenses, and that includes security, that includes their royal engagements, but it's an awful lot of money. Most of that money comes from Prince Charles. They say about 95% of it, 5% comes from the taxpayers. Whether that's true or not, we're still trying to figure out, but the fact of the matter is it's an awful lot of money for Harry and Meghan to come up with on their own as they try to usher this new way forward, and big questions are being asked about just how they're going to do it.
Yeah, you know, and I've seen some reports that suggest that wherever they end up landing, making their home. If it turns out to be Canada, that country might find themselves having to pick up the tab for some extra security and things of that matter. Earlier on the CBS Morning News, we ran a little clip from the Madame Tussauds spokesperson, and they said it's not a dig. We are just respecting their desire to step back from the royal family, so their wax figures are also stepping back. I'm paraphrasing, just so you know.
Yeah.
MTS, thank you so much.